Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, FPL Consult here, and today we're going to do my Game Week 21 team selection video. So I am recording this before the second string of double Game Week games have been played. So Manchester United and Crystal Palace haven't played yet, and Man City and Tottenham also haven't played. So there are still points to be had for my team at this point in time, right? But I only have 4 players left to play, and my major rank killer is actually Kevin De Bruyne, right? Who currently is in a situation where he missed training, but Pep did say that he is confident he'll still start. So we'll see how that goes. It's not within my control anymore, but we'll quickly go through how I did for Game Week 20 and then move on to Game Week 21 and see what I intend to do with my team. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. If you do, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. So very quickly, as it stands for Game Week 20, I am on a green arrow, 481k in the world, so it's about a 20% green arrow. I'm quite happy with that, right? And it's thanks to my moves that I made with the -8 hit that I took. Right? So I actually brought in Luke Shaw, Odegaard and Harry Kane. Now on the balance, after calculating, the hit has already paid off because of Odegaard's goal against Tottenham. Right? This 9-pointer from Odegaard actually puts me on a +1 overall. If I compare whether I started the players that I transferred out instead of these new players, I would still stand on a +1 currently. So the hit has paid off. I'm pretty happy with that, and I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the curve going for Odegaard as one of the players or part of my -8 hit. So currently how I did for Game Week 20, I'm sitting on 63 points right before the -8. And still points to be had, as I mentioned, but we'll quickly go through the main scorers for my team. So Kepa in goal, 10 points. I chose him ahead of Ward, and I'm pretty happy with that because he did return a clean sheet as well as a good couple of save points and bonus points as well. So pretty happy with that. In the back line, there's Trippier, Ben White and Shaw. Now, I didn't really have much of a choice because Bueno and Pedersen, I weren't too confident of starting them. And of course, Bueno kept that clean sheet against West Ham. So, and that was before the Arsenal game. So I was pretty bummed that I didn't start Bueno instead of White. But after that, Ben White came through with the 8-pointer. So I'm quite happy with that. And now there's Luke Shaw yet to play as well. Right, so we'll see how he does against Crystal Palace. And then maybe we get more points there, hopefully. Right, and then in the midfield, there's Salah, Martinelli, Rashford, Almiron, and Odegaard. Most of them blank except for Rashford, who scored the winner against Man City, and Odegaard, who scored that cracking goal against Spurs. Right, really impressed with his performance so far, and I'm glad that I have him in my team already. I'm sure people will be rushing to get him in now, but I actually feel like Game Week 21 isn't the time to bring him in. Maybe Game Week 22 onwards could be the time. Right, so up front, there's Haaland and Kane. Now, for Harry Kane, he blanked against Spurs, but one more game to go, so hopefully he gets some returns. And for Haaland, those of you guys who joined in my deadline stream would know that I actually wasn't set on triple captaining him. But before the deadline, I hit the button, triple captainship is active. Currently, he's sitting on 2 points only, so 2 times 3 gives him 6 points, and I'm of course hoping that he will get some returns against Spurs. Right? If not, it would be a waste of the chip, but I did feel like it was kind of the more preferred time to play the triple captainship in Game Week 20 instead of Game Week 23. Right now, there is talk about some potential double game weeks popping up. We'll talk about that later on in the Game Week 21 section. Right, so we'll move on now to take a look at how I'm going to set up for Game Week 21. So there are a couple of things to mention before we get into the team, and that is the FPL landscape moving forward. So currently, the confirmed ones is that Game Week 23 will be a double game week for Arsenal and Man City, and also Game Week 25 will potentially be a blank for a number of teams, right? It could range from whichever teams get to the EFL Cup final, but based on probabilities, it's looking like Manchester United, Newcastle, Brentford and Brighton will be the ones who have a blank game week in Game Week 25, right? But that isn't confirmed yet. And on top of that, there is talk of an announcement that could be coming up soon. By the time you're watching this, maybe it's already out, right? But there is a high possibility that the Premier League could provisionally announce Manchester United and Leeds having a double game week in Game Week 22. Now, at this point as well as of recording, there hasn't been any announcements saying that Liverpool would double in Game Week 21, right? So that was actually one of the reasons why I held on to Salah instead of going for De Bruyne for a hit, right? But currently, there hasn't been any confirmation. There could have been a confirmation by the time you're watching this, and I don't think that would change my moves too much. So as you guys can see on the screen, I haven't done anything with my team at all. On the left, you can see one free transfer left. right? So I'm not doing anything with my team. I'm rolling the transfer, and that's pretty much because most of the things regarding the FPL landscape moving forward, as I mentioned, aren't going to be confirmed by the Game Week 21 deadline. There's going to be so much factors and so many FA Cups, EFL Cup results that come into play to decide whether the double game weeks or blank game weeks happen or not. So I do want that flexibility, and I think it's important for me to have at least one free transfer each week, right? So that will allow me to at least have 2 free transfers in those weeks where I really need to use those transfers to improve my team as well. So currently, no transfers made at all, right? And I have Ward in goal over Kepa. Kepa plays Liverpool away. I actually do think that Chelsea don't look that solid. I feel like they were a little bit lucky to keep a clean sheet against Crystal Palace, largely due to Kepa's performance, but I think over the long run, especially at Anfield against Liverpool, I'm not too confident of the clean sheet there. Not that I'm very confident that Ward will keep a clean sheet against Brighton as well, but I'll take my chances there. And I'm sure there will be a couple of save points for him as well, right? Brighton look pretty good going forward. So not fancying him that much, but I think I prefer him over Kepa. In the back line, there's Trippier, Shaw, and White. As I mentioned, Shaw and White, I'll play both of them, and that's because Bueno and Patterson, I'm not going to play them. Right? Bueno is on the bench with Man City away. Patterson is injured. Right? So I'm pretty stuck with this back three. But I know a couple of you guys are in positions where you're deciding whether to start Ben White or Luke Shaw. I would actually lean towards Ben White if I had to choose one, and that's because it's at the Emirates. So Arsenal are actually really strong. Their performances at the Emirates at home have been so good, right? So I would back the home team a little bit, and I may bench Shaw if I had to choose one. Right. In midfield, there's Salah, Rashford, Odegaard, and Almiron. Now, I basically dropped Martinelli to the bench because of Manchester United's defense. I think they're quite strong. I don't expect too many goals, and I obviously prefer to start Odegaard ahead of Martinelli. So there we go with the midfield. And then up front, there's Mitrovic, Haaland, and Kane, right? Obviously going to start all of them. And I actually do think like Mitrovic can benefit from getting returns against Spurs, who don't look very strong defensively. Now, I know he has become a little bit of a troll the past few weeks, missing penalties, and just the manner in which he has missed penalties also has put us off starting him, and some have even transferred him out. But I actually do think that keeping patient with him and holding him could bring some returns as well. Right, so that's my front three: Captain Haaland, Vice Captain Kane. That could easily change to Captain Kane if I actually feel like over the course of from now till the deadline, I actually feel like Kane will get more points. Right, but for now, it's on Haaland and Vice Captain is on Kane. Right, and this is how pretty much I'll set up. I don't think I would make any transfers, even if the double game week 21 Liverpool and Chelsea double is announced. I actually don't think I would bring in a Liverpool player. I'd probably stick with this team, and Salah, I already have him as Liverpool coverage. I don't want Liverpool defenders. And I don't think Nunes or Gakpo would be players that I want to go for. So, firstly, that double game week 21 announcement, if it happens, right, wouldn't change my moves. Secondly, if there's a game week 22 double for United and Leeds, I can use 2 free transfers in game week 22 to address that. Right, and then later on, game week 23, there's that double for Man City and Arsenal. Game week 25, there's potential blanks. This one free transfer will be really useful. Right, so I do actually advise for those of you guys who are watching this and have watched to this point, right, that you save your transfers, because moving forward, the landscape is going to change really quickly, and you may have a really good team for this week, but moving on to the next week, it could just look like one team that isn't ideal for that particular week, and you would want some free transfers to improve your team there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. And I'll catch you guys on the deadline stream 3 hours before the Game Week 21 deadline. So until then, I will see you guys. Bye-bye.